don't change that view. Toxic Couch TV, your weekly show with glee. Colton and Alex, harmony. Toxic Couch TV. Stay tuned, folks. Hey, 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 we're live from the couch where the big boys play. Colton Heinrich, sharp as a tack. Alex Blackwood's got the stats to back. We're tossing hot takes like a perfect pass. Hey, 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 we're live from the couch where the big boys play. Colton Heinrich, sharp as a tack. Alex Blackwood. Tackles and a little sass. Toxic Couch TV, where the banter flies so free. Toxic Couch TV, you get your sports straight from we. We call the plays before they unfold. Predict the champs, both brave and bold. From Sunday lights to Monday night, we're singing takes that just sound right. Toxic Couch TV, the gridiron's melody. Toxic Couch TV, hot takes in perfect key. That QB's cold, but he still got soul. Defense wins when the nights turn old. Ooh, the game's on a roll. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Now here's the breaking news. Don't change that view. And don't change that view. Toxic Couch TV, your weekly show with glee. Colton and Alex, harmony. Toxic Couch TV.
MVP, 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 MVP.
Time to panic. Time to panic. Time to panic. Let's get into it.
Today's episode of Toxic Couch TV is brought to you by Heinrich's Harmony. Heinrich's Harmony offers private piano, guitar, and voice lessons rooted in a Christ-centered approach to music education. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced musician, you'll find lessons that help you grow in skill and faith. Learn more or sign up today at stepstograce.com and scroll to Heinrich's Harmony, where faith and music come together in perfect harmony. And with that, we welcome you to the Week 11 edition of Toxic Couch TV. Colton, can you believe we're this far in already?
Actually, I can't. I was thinking about it this week, and it's unbelievable that we're already in the middle of November. The most important football is being played now. So, it's kind of crazy that we've made it this far.
And some good news for you and your Packers. Toyota-thon is coming up.
Thank goodness, because we need it, especially after the past few weeks. Oh, it's been rough.
Oh, yeah. this is going to be such a fun week. This is really where teams are going to start to. We're really going to be able to see where teams, if they're truly contenders or if they're pretenders. This is when those teams really start to get exposed, and it's going to be very exciting. Colton, I mentioned Toyotathon. Why were you so ready for Toyotathon?
Well, let's just get into the Packers versus the Eagles. Our defense looked fantastic, and quite frankly, I was blown away by the defensive play. A lot of people are saying that Micah Parsons wasn't worth it. They're clearly not watching the same football game that I am. He's wreaking havoc even when it's not noticeable from a purely game film standpoint, especially if you break it down. So the Eagles actually only passed, if you don't count screen passes and bubbles, 13 times. Micah Parsons got pressure on Jalen Hurts 9 of those 13 times and was one of the highest graded pass rushers in the entire NFL, just looking at pure pass snaps. So I'd like to just hush all of those Micah haters right now, because that's not happening. Relax. As Aaron Rodgers said, which we need some of that Aaron Rodgers relax energy right now. Jordan Love, also, people went from calling him MVP last week to now all of a sudden hating on him. Let's not do that, because the media is just insane. Jordan looked fine. It actually came down to our offensive play calling and our injuries. Tucker Kraft, the loss of him was bigger than any of us would have thought. Romeo Doubs goes down during this game. Matthew Golden doesn't play. Jalen Reed is out currently. So we had Bo Melton back on the offensive side after taking only defensive snaps. He's no Travis Hunter. And here we go. He was dropping balls left and right. Dontavian Wicks was our best receiver all game. It was rough. The O-line, I would like to get into that. Holy crap. This O-line is terrible. It's bad. It's bad. And honestly, we lost Elton Jenkins for the rest of the year in this game. The Packers are battered. They are bruised. I don't know the path forward for us, which is unfortunate, because on paper we have a really good team, and I will get into all of it later. Something has to be done on the coaching end. I don't care if it's giving up play calling. I don't care if it's firing Matt LaFleur, but it's actually becoming a huge issue.
Well, welcome to my world, because as a Colts fan these past 10 years, I have not been able to know what's been up next for this team for those past 10 years. Speaking of which, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts, who got it done in Deutschland. So this was stressful until the very end. We did not deserve to win that game, and we would not have if Jonathan Taylor wasn't on our team. He just managed to get it done no matter where he was on the field, even when the O-line wasn't giving him that much. Actually, I changed my mind. The run block O-line looked really good. On pass, it once again looked absolutely terrible. And we're actually going to talk about a Falcon later on that I think needs more recognition. But I am still in panic mode, despite my team being 8-2. And here's why. I fear that we have seen New York Daniel Jones these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he currently, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 interceptions on the season. That is third most in the entire NFL.
And 4 of them came in these past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and not to mention he's been strip sacked 3 times in the past 2 games.
Yeah, it's been brutal for you guys.
Mm-hmm. The O-line on the pass isn't exactly doing him many favors, but I still trust Shane, and I still trust that he will utilize Jonathan Taylor properly like he did this last game. On defense, we had a big new addition in Sauce Gardner, and I want to talk about his performance. Obviously, his ankles did get snatched on that 1 2-point conversion to Drake London. Outside of Drake London, the Falcons could not get anything going on. Bijan had his fair share of carries and good runs. Kyle Pitts did have 1 really good catch. But that was about it, besides Drake London. Other than that, Penix really couldn't get anything going, and we're going to talk about Raheem Morris later on in this show. So defensively, we still look good, even though we were without Buckner and Grover Stewart got hurt during the game. I still am very confident in this defensive front because we do have good depth on the defensive line. And I'm just excited to see how it goes out. We're gonna get healthy and rest for the bye. The social media team's actually taking a break for the bye. They do that every year for mental health and the Kicking the Stigma program that they run. And then we'll be ready for our Week 12 battle with the Chiefs.
There you go. That should be a fun one for you guys, I think. But enjoy the bye, for sure.
And with that, we get into our favorite segment, which is overreaction or not.
Yes, we have to cut to overreaction or not and cut away from the Bobo Cam that was on while you were talking. Hang on. There we go. Overreaction. Here it comes. Sweet. Woo! Overreaction or not.
All right, Alex. So if you're new to us, here's what we do at Overreaction or Not. So I am going to share with Colton one of my reactions that I got from this week, whether I think it's an overreaction or not an overreaction. He is going to tell me whether or not he believes that's an overreaction, and then I am going to say whether or not I agree with that. So with that, I'm going to go first, and I am going to stick with the Colts, and I am going to say 2025 Jonathan Taylor is better than 2024 Saquon Barkley.
Whoa. That's a tough one. Saquon had a great season, but he was able to be shut down towards the end. Overreaction or not on that one? I'm gonna go not an overreaction. For the simple reason that JT is an MVP candidate and Saquon was not.
I think in the 2025 season, if Saquon was putting the stats that he was, I think he would definitely also be in the MVP conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What you also have to remember is that both of them have excellent offensive lines. It's just which running back has done more with such help. And that person, I believe, is Jonathan Taylor right now with 4 hat tricks on the year already. Or 4 games with 3 touchdowns. So, yeah, I am going to say that's not an overreaction either, and I'm going to give 2025 JT the hump over Saquon.
Yep. All right, Alex. This is my overreaction or not. Matt LaFleur sucks.
Not an overreaction. At least not this year, it's not. I remember back in 2019, 2020, and 2021, he revived Aaron Rodgers' career. It was looking like it was struggling towards the end, but he brought it back.
Yep.
And the whole reason the Packers brought him on is because he was known for his imaginative play calling and his imaginative offensive coordination with Marcus Mariota and the Titans. But we haven't been seeing that. And when we have, it's just been idiotic.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, I don't know what else to say about it. That's definitely not an overreaction to me.
For me, I'll get into it in a later segment. It is a little bit of an overreaction, but for the most part, something has to be done. Matt LaFleur either has to give up play calling or needs to snap this team into its right mindset. Because as far as I'm concerned, all of the Packers' woes over the past 3 seasons have been because of Matt LaFleur's coaching. So he tends to not correct the team when they're wrong, and he's just like, figure it out. Or the notorious "I don't talk to kickers" comment. And then we have the least efficient and effective kicker in the entire league right now. That's Matt's fault. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna go not an overreaction on this one this week, Alex.
All right. So not an overreaction for everything so far. Let's see what you think of this one. You might say overreaction here. The Bears are a dark horse contender.
Ooh, okay. So I actually do think that this is an overreaction. And one of my hot takes was the Bears got bailed out. So for you, I'm going to say overreaction, and here's why. I'm going to use my own hot take. The Bears got bailed out. Jackson Dart was leading them to win the game. Goes down with a concussion, is pulled out. He would have stayed in, but they made sure that he would come out. Brian Daboll is fired after this game. Ridiculous, by the way. We'll get into that at a different point. Russell Wilson comes in and proceeds to lose the game for the New York Giants. The Bears were going to lose to the Giants, And then Russell Wilson came in and showed why he does not deserve to be playing football. That's why Jameis has been named the starter this week. Bears aren't a dark horse candidate. Bears have gotten lucky. And the Bears' downfall is going to start. I guarantee it.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say this is not an overreaction. Yes, they have secondary issues. Yes, they have issues as a defense as a whole. But Caleb Williams has been so clutch so far this year, and his schedule is going to be doing him a lot of favors for the rest of the year. I know they got the Packers twice. I know they have one game against the Lions, the Vikings. I know they still have the rest of the NFC East to play. But the Bears, they can get that done. They can totally get it done with how clutch Caleb Williams has been with game-winning drives.
Caleb Williams has been clutch on his feet, not with the passing game. Currently, Jordan Love has thrown as many touchdown passes as Caleb Williams in the past 5 weeks.
Whatever it takes.
Well, whatever it takes, yeah. But the thing is that somebody's going to put a QB spy on Caleb, and then they're not going to keep running him. Somebody is going to, like the Packers, are going to put Micah Parsons in the Mike position just as a QB spy, and Mike is going to hound down Caleb Williams. As soon as somebody picks up on the fact that Caleb Williams isn't throwing it downfield, a team like the Packers is going to eat against them because, sure, our corners are terrible, but yeah, no. The Bears
Packers are going to eat against them anyway because they're the Packers and they're the Bears.
Yeah, but the Bears don't have it, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's my opinion.
All right. This is finally time. I've been sitting on this one since we started this segment. Travis Hunter is a bust.
This is definitely an overreaction. We haven't been seeing much of him. He hasn't gotten the snap count that we were hoping to see out of him, for sure. And now he's on IR and is missing the rest of this season. Mainly for that reason, I say this is an overreaction. We haven't really got to see enough of him so far. When he does get on the field, I actually really like to watch him, and he actually does really good. He was actually one of my nominees for Offensive Rookie of the Week earlier on in a game in the season. I think it was the KC game. I can't fully remember, but I like what I see out of him. I think this is an overreaction.
This is not an overreaction, Alex. Here's why. After 7 games played, every single worry that everybody pre-draft said has come true. It's not sustainable. You're going to sustain injuries doing this to yourself. You're not going to get the snap count, and you're not going to be a true cornerback 1 or a true wide receiver 1 on either side. He was not a cornerback 1. He was not a wide receiver 1. I'm sorry, when you're trading away your entire team's future for a guy like Travis Hunter, you expect more. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say not an overreaction.
Excuse me. My next reaction is the Chargers are legit.
Oh, that's not an overreaction. They definitely have the injuries that they have to work through, but definitely not an overreaction. They're competitors to win their division this year, and actually that'll go into my next overreaction or not hot take. But yeah, they definitely are legit. They are the real deal. Harbaugh has turned it around. Madison Beer, the effect is real.
I'm actually going to disagree with you and say that this is an overreaction, and here's why. We've seen what specific injuries have happened for the Chargers and how detrimental they've been. They weren't able to overcome when Joe Alt was hurt, and when he was healthy, Justin Herbert thrived. But he hasn't been without Alt. And the only reason he did is because he played the darn Steelers on Sunday Night Football, who can't get their act together. I think this is an overreaction. I think you put them up against like the Broncos or the Chiefs in the West, and they get smacked around with the current state of their squad. When fully healthy, it's a different story, but that's just where I stand right now.
All right. Well, so that's going to go into my next one. Let's stay in the AFC. The Bills and the Chiefs are in trouble.
Overreaction. God has a plan for these teams. They're fine. Like, I know Mahomes and Allen haven't played like up to Mahomes and Allen's standards, but you take a team like the Colts, like compared to how I was feeling before week 1 versus now, I would be happy to be 5-4 or 6-3 right now. It's all perspective, if I'm being honest, and that's why I believe this is an overreaction.
For me, I'm going to say not an overreaction. They are both currently trailing in their divisions, and they're both currently trailing when it comes to standings overall in the AFC. I think they need to watch out because there are other teams that are clearly acting hungrier than they are. If they keep dropping and losing dumb games, like, for example, the Bills losing to Miami this week by 30, like, no. This is now panic mode if you are a Chiefs fan or if you are a Bills fan. These organizations need to get their crap together and get used to what we're used to seeing out of them. Especially in November football when it's the most important football. We're past the halfway mark at this point. So, I'm going to say not an overreaction on this one, Alex.
I'm actually going to stay in Buffalo and say that the Bills should have traded for Chris Olave.
I don't think that that's an overreaction. They have some pretty good receivers as is, but they definitely have to put it together more. If we're saying woulda, coulda, shoulda, yeah, absolutely. They could have made more moves at the deadline. Any of these teams that are struggling could have, my Packers included. But I'm gonna go with you and say not an overreaction. They should have traded for anybody.
I'm going to say not an overreaction either. Imagine Josh Allen with a solidified wide receiver one. Just how good he'd be at his current state, MVP-looking state right now. It would just be an absolute amazing look, and the rest of the league would probably be cooked.
Yep.
I am going to say that is not an overreaction.
All right. Okay, so I've got one more. Jerry Jones should sell the team.
Oh, come on. They had a bye.
They still lost.
Yeah. They probably still lost, and I am going to say, that is not an overreaction by any means.
Yes, Jerry, please sell the Cowboys. It'll be better for you and better for America.
All right. So that does it for our overreaction or not segment, and with that, we go into weekly stories.
Weekly stories. Woo.
Yeah, woohoo. And we start, Colton, we have not had a hot seat update in a matter of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a whole bunch of hot seat news coming up for you guys. And rumors, too, right here. Starting out with the Raiders. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith are expected to part ways with the Raiders at the conclusion of the season.
I understand the Geno Smith. I don't understand the Pete Carroll. That's very interesting to me. And actually, this is the first time I've heard about that. I would assume that you would want to keep Pete Carroll throughout the rebuild, unless Tom Brady's going to go down there and start coaching.
The reality of the situation is Pete Carroll is the oldest head coach in the NFL by a mile, and you are not going to want to keep him around if he's not winning right now.
Yeah.
If this is going to be a long-term project, then he just needs to hang it up and retire at this point. I think he has more self-respect than that if he is an NFL head coach at 70-something years old. So that's just my take on it. We go to New York where Brian Daboll is officially out.
What a ridiculous move. Brian Daboll brought some energy to this team. I don't know why we're not talking about the GM getting fired right now. That should be what we're talking about. Daboll's decision was to bring on Dart and Scadaboo. That was not the Mara family or any of the GMs doing. That was Daboll. And the Hard Knocks really revealed all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how, if you're John Mara, you can come to the conclusion that Daboll's the problem in that organization.
Yeah, no, Mara's been an idiot for I don't even know how long now, and it's just been an issue, and it's why the Giants are just going to continue to struggle, even when they have excellent culture changes.
Yep, I'm with you.
Matt LaFleur is expected to still play call.
Oh, yeah, don't even get me started on this. The unimaginative, how do I put this nicely? It's unbelievable how I, sitting on my couch, can call every single play that Matt LaFleur is about to do. So my dad and I were playing a game while we were watching the Packers. And Tanner can attest to this. We were betting what the first 3 plays of every drive were going to be. And with 100% accuracy, we were able to guess what it was. One of the drives, I said, watch this, play action, run, punt.
Oh
And
my
with
gosh.
100% accuracy, play action, failed, run 2 yards, punt. And then when you have defensive linemen on the other team calling out what's going to happen, goodness gracious, good almighty, figure it out. I don't know if it's a Stinovich problem. I don't know if it's a LaFleur problem. I don't know if it's an O-line problem. I genuinely gotta get it figured out, because Packers are screwed if we don't.
Knowing Green Bay, it is probably a Matt LaFleur situation.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm thinking. And people say, oh, well, he revitalized Aaron Rodgers' career. Don't forget, Aaron Rodgers was not calling Matt LaFleur's plays. He was calling his own and running his own offense. And people were like, well, finally, Matt LaFleur is going to get his chance with Jordan Love. It's been 3 years, guys. I will get into this at a later point. Something has to be done.
Not one conference championship with Love.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
One more hot seat update for you guys. Raheem Morris is quote unquote officially on the hot seat.
The Falcons have been a who are they team this year, right? We can't tell if they're really good. We can't tell if they're really bad. When Bijan and Drake London are humming, they're great. If Penix is humming, they're great. They had a couple weeks with Kirk Cousins. Clearly, he's lost his mojo. I don't know if I would consider him on the hot seat. I think that that's something that should be assessed at the end of the season, because they're especially still in it in their division.
I disagree.
Really?
The development out of Michael Penix has taken such a huge step back, and I can attest to this because I watch them. Michael Penix has no idea what he's doing when he's not throwing to Drake London. And that's on Penix, because I saw much more glimpses of the good Penix before last year when in his first snaps. The clock management from him is also a big red flag to me. How he handles overtime and just how he defensive in general. I don't know how the league didn't learn from the experiment with him and Josh Freeman. I don't get that one, but at the end of the day, I think we have to have a conversation whether Raheem Morris is the coach moving forward.
Boba's sleeping right now. Look at her.
Aw.
I'm on the Boba cam while we're talking stuff.
All right. Well, while you're petting Boba, I'm going to get us into our next weekly story, which is Joe Burrow. Potentially on the trade block this offseason?
No, he's coming back and he'll be fine. He's coming back early from his injury.
It is said that he will be, but are the Bengals already totally cooked? Is the damage done?
No, I would say that they're still alive. The Steelers are failing. The Ravens are still trying to figure out their life. They're still very alive in their division, I think.
Yeah, I know. Their division has been having a lot of problems, which might actually save the Bengals. Maybe the script has something cooking for us at the end of the day. But, yeah, it is definitely something to watch out for if the Bengals don't make the playoffs. If he were to get traded, where is his best fit?
His best fit? I would say Arizona, probably.
I would agree.
I would say Arizona. I think that he would be a great fit down there with a Marvin Harrison type receiver, and then you've got a pretty decent offensive line that can hold their own. Pretty young head coach who's gonna cater to the Burrow offense. Yeah, I'm gonna say Arizona would be my landing spot for Joe Burrow.
How would you feel? And that includes you watching this, ladies and gentlemen, about a Joe Burrow Kyler Murray swap.
I would not like it if I was a Bengals fan, but I could see something where that would work.
You could be getting a plethora of draft picks for that, though, as well. And Kyler being a bridge, maybe he works in a new scheme, maybe he doesn't. I don't think Jonathan Gannon is the greatest fit for him anyway. You just never know.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Patriots. Actually, one of my reactions that I had that I didn't get to say to you was Mike Vrabel will win Coach of the Year.
As he should.
The Patriots have already doubled their win total from last year and matched their win total from the past 2 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is, shout out Sam Knox. We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
This is, Patriots are good. It's no secret. I did say strength of schedule last week was one of my biggest woes with them, and then they go in and wipe out the Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Patriots are legit.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. Drake May, I've said it on the show so many times, he has the best deep ball in the NFL right now, and to me, it's not really up for discussion. Mm-hmm. Another team that got a very big win this Sunday, Davis Mills led a 19-point comeback as a backup.
Very impressive. We were sitting right on this couch watching it. Man, that was pretty sweet. Davis Mills brought it back. The Rain Man predicted it. Good for him because he cooked us last week in predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a believer in this Texans team. I know you always haven't been, but I'm with them.
Actually, believe it or not, there are some teams in the AFC that I think will actually be on the decline. The Texans could actually make a playoff push if those teams do tend to decline. I do think they're going to turn this thing around. Like, let's be very clear here. They're going to turn things around down in Houston, especially with their schedule starting to open up a little bit. They get Tennessee this week. So, Asante Samuel. I know we were talking about him a little bit, about the rumors about what team he wants to join.
Could have been. Could have been?
He chooses to join a Steelers team that really needs a guy like him because they are depleted at the DB position.
Which is crazy because they're the highest paid defense in the entire NFL. But besides the point, wish he was a Packer, needed him as a Packer. The Nate Hobbs thing isn't working out for us, but I'm just a little butthurt.
He's going to bring a whole lot of value to that Steelers defense, more than people realize. Mm-hmm. Guess who just finished a 10-game suspension? Justin Tucker.
Yes, the man himself.
The GOAT. The man who held the record longest field goal until Cam Little, the new GOAT, broke it 2 weeks ago. Is he signing with a team this year?
Bring him to the Packers. Talk about a locker room presence, huh?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, but if he's available and the Packers are willing to go out and get him,
then you'll have 2 kickers with allegations.
Nice. All right. Love that we're touching on this today.
Okay. Let me gain composure of myself. We have one more weekly story, and then we can get into our rants, and we can be unhinged again. Russell Wilson, we're going back to New York. He is expected to retire after this season.
Good, he's a bum.
He's not a bum. He had a very good prime, and even if Richard Sherman doesn't see it, I do. He was absolutely excellent. He used to be the fastest quarterback in the game back in like 2015, 2016. He was just excellent. He was... When I was like entering the preteen years, he was the first guy I would think of when I thought of quarterbacks that use their feet.
Yeah, but what about now? We got to think about now. And what if Russell Wilson would have retired 5 years ago and retires at the end of this season? I'm not going to lie to you. Russ, if he retires 5 years ago, Hall of Fame quarterback. First ballot Hall of Famer. Russ retires now after his past 5 seasons. Not a Hall of Fame quarterback.
See, I don't get why negative seasons should count against you. I feel like Hall of Fame should be what you have done that is good, and that is it.
But then you should also consider what he's doing not good right now. And his past 5 seasons have been some of the worst decision-making in all of football.
All I'm saying is he once had a prime, and I think he deserves to be recognized way more for that than what is going on right now.
I get it, but that's not what's happening now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but youngest quarterback to get a ring.
Yep.
And just an absolutely excellent man.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent guy. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say he's not gonna be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
I don't know. With that, we get to be more unhinged now, and we start with our This Sucks rant.
This sucks.
So, Colton and I have decided to take our This Sucks rant from the same game, the Monday night game between the Eagles and the Packers. The tush push. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry for ever saying, you just can't stop the tush push because you're not good. It's not the play itself. The refs don't know how to call it. It is becoming more and more and more ridiculous every single week. They can't keep getting away with this. And here's the other thing. The Packers tried to run a tush push, and just so conveniently, now the refs know how to call it. I don't even think this is an issue of not being able to officiate it anymore. This is now becoming an issue where they just pick and choose who gets to do it.
Yep.
It is becoming absolutely ridiculous, and if you're not a big market team like the Philadelphia Eagles, no winning for you. Keeping it short, keeping it sweet, that's what sucks.
That's what sucks. All right. Well, I'm going to get into what sucks for me this week. The picture you see on your screen is Matt LaFleur bent over trying to figure out what plays to call in a 0-0 game against the Philadelphia Eagles. This may be one of the most embarrassing shots any head coach is going to give you all season long. Matt LaFleur is what sucks this week, folks. And I normally will not bury my head coach. I normally will not dog on him. However, it seems to me, as of last year and the year before that, one of the highest pre-snap penalty and mental mistake teams in the entire NFL. Great. You can chalk that up to being either the youngest team in the NFL for 3 straight years, or we can chalk it up to coaching. It has now been 3 years with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, and I'm seeing a heck of a lot more from Jordan Love than I am seeing from Matt LaFleur. The fact is that his uninspirational, unchecked game management and game planning and calling of these games. If your first 15 plays that are all scripted don't work and you can't score on the first drive, it's driving me insane. It's actually driving me insane. And I always said, hang in there with LaFleur. Hang in there with LaFleur. I'm done. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm done. A lot of Packers fans are done, and they should be. LaFleur needs to go, or he needs to give up his play calling rights. He has always been bad clock management, bad decision making. And I can tell you that because I've watched it every single year, and we're just going to keep riding with him. No, his head deserves to be on the chopping block after everything that we have seen. And in this next picture, you're going to see another guy in the background, Rich Bisaccia. The Packers coaching staff needs an overhaul altogether. Heck, put Jeff Hafley as our as our head coach. I don't care. And I will say this. LaFleur, you've got one more week. Okay? You've got one more week. If we do not go in there and if we do not beat the Giants, absolutely to the day that we lose to the Giants, LaFleur needs to be fired.
Oh yeah.
Period. If we lose another, and if it's our defense shows up, our defense, best defense in the league right now. Like, I'm convinced. Our defensive line, by far the best defense in the entire league. Lucas Van Ness comes back next week. If we do not win games, we need to be done. And okay, I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna clarify. There's always a possibility that Matt LaFleur is scheming and play calling for the personnel that he has in. Lack of offensive line, lack of receiving core, no more blocking tight ends. Cool. Great. Gosh darn it, we have Jordan Love. Jordan Love can ball out. I'm so sick. I'm so sick of this. I have always been somebody who's going to make excuses for Coach LaFleur. No more. I'm done. I'm done making excuses for Coach LaFleur. Coach LaFleur, you're what sucks this week. And you're what sucked last week too. I just didn't want to say it. please pick it up. That's what sucks.
All right.
All right.
And with that, we are going to our Toxic Couch Weekly Awards. And we start on your screen right now is... Thank you, Colton.
Yes, they're in the wrong order, but we'll get there eventually.
It's okay. I could have picked them in the wrong order. It's fine with me. Anyway, I decided to go with an MVP and Offensive Player of the Week, going to the same person just because this person just deserves it that much. Just for his sheer value to this team and how valuable he's been when he's healthy for the Colts these past 6 seasons. And his name is Jonathan Taylor. 244 rushing yards and 3 scrimmage touchdowns. Actually, all of them were rushing. His 4th game this season with 3 scrimmage touchdowns. And the Colts are 8-2, mainly because of his efforts. He leads the league in rushing. He is an absolute amazing player, and that is why he is getting both of those awards this week. We stay in the AFC South for our Coach of the Week, and that is DeMeco Ryans. We already talked about it in our weekly story. Managed to work well with Davis Mills and managed to win despite being down 19. Great defensive play calling out of him, too. This looks like a totally different team than it did the first 6-7 weeks of the season. They just look absolutely amazing right now. Let's go to our Defensive Player of the Week. And our Defensive Player of this week, it speaks for itself. Scott Hansen went absolutely crazy when this happened, but a man had 2 scoop and scores. 12 points scored on the defensive side of the ball. And that goes to DeMarcus Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. Those 2 scoops and scores by themselves get him this week's Defensive Player of the Week. And with that, we go to Offensive Rookie of the Week, which Travion Henderson finally managed to turn the lights on, turn on the Jets, and just go. You saw the big runs from him this past Sunday against a great Tampa Bay defense too. And he just managed to get it done. This Ohio State running back is going to do wonders for the Patriots long term. Last but not least, we go back to Germany and we go to a Defensive Rookie of the Week named Jalen Walker. This is the man that strip-sacked Daniel Jones, and he managed to get 6 tackles on top of that. So, yeah, absolutely great week out of Jalen Walker, and the Falcons really pulled themselves a gem. Raheem Morris might not be the best play caller, but he certainly knows how to build up a roster of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, last but not least, we go into our game picks for this week.
Rain Man.
You're right. The Rain Man sent in a video for us to show you this week. If you weren't with us last week, Rain Man Says is a segment where Tanner Rienga is going to give you some fantasy advice on who to pick up. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, let's hear it from Tanner Rienga.
What's up, Toxic Couch? Today, bringing you some nice fantasy players you want to look at. Maybe think about buying. Trade deadlines coming up. Should be looking at them to pick them up. First, we're going to start off with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, we learned earlier this week that he's likely to return by around week 13. That's crazy, just in time for the fantasy playoffs. He's going to come into an already pretty explosive offense with Joe Flacco. We have seen in the past, Joe Burrow has been a great fantasy quarterback in seasons past. It probably is a quarterback that hopefully maybe is on your waiver wire, or you can buy low. Someone that you should really be trying to pick up, especially if you need a quarterback, or if you have a quarterback of that week 14 bye. Next is Jamar Chase. I know this is a little bit of an obvious one. He's already right now, even without Burrow, arguably the best receiver. But, I mean, if you can get this guy, I would give up just about anything for him. I mean, he has dominated. His targets are crazy. Let me just look at these stats. All right, ready? So, the past 3 games, 23 targets, 19 hard targets, and 8 targets. He scored 38 points, 21 points, 17 points. If you look past 25 points, 29 points, this guy is scoring a lot of points, even with Joe Flacco and a not great offensive line. And competition from T. Higgins. If I would give up a lot if I can get a chance to get this guy. Next, we're going to look at Troy Franklin. So, Denver Broncos wide receiver. We obviously saw that horrendous game on Thursday Night Football from the Broncos. But if you look at Troy Franklin, he's kind of taken over as wide receiver 1. Courtland Sutton, from a points per game standpoint, has really fell off. And this guy is dominating the target share. The past 4 games, had 10, 8, 10, 9 targets. He's consistently getting about 80%, between 70 and 80% of snaps. He scored 26 points against Dallas and 15 even last week in that horrible game. It's a guy that you might want to be looking at just if you're looking for a receiver or want somebody that could give you something. It's another guy you can look up. Going back to another player on this Broncos offense, even though, like you said, last week it was horrendous. But it's a good time to buy low. Is R.J. Harvey. We learned this week that J.K. Dobbins is injured, and R.J. Harvey could pick up a role in this offense, especially this week. And I know it's a tough matchup against Kansas City, but this is division games are always tough. You never know what to expect. And if you look at his numbers, really not too sexy on the snap percentage, but his touchdowns, he's been scoring touchdowns really efficiently, and that's kind of why you see him week 8 and week 9, he scores 24 and 16 points because he has these touchdowns. So he's a little touchdown dependent, but it's a guy to look at without competition from J.K. Dobbins. My final player this week is going to be Josh Jacobs. Now, I have this guy on my fantasy team, and the reason why I'm saying that this is a player that you maybe want to buy low on or you maybe want to try to pick up is that if you look at the past few weeks, they've been okay. They've been good, and I wouldn't be complaining at all. But they haven't been that running back 1 special numbers. I mean, if you look at 18, 13, 20, 19 points, I mean, those are good numbers, but nothing crazy, especially if you look at that Packers offense that we saw on Monday night. A lot of owners might be discouraged on Josh Jacobs that oh my gosh, this offense is just really, really slow. But I would say don't worry about it. I mean, this guy has an incredible floor. He scored a touchdown almost in every single game except 1 this year. He did actually have a health issue in the past few weeks, and now you see he's getting a lot healthier. He went from having 50% of the snaps to 75 this past week. And if you see that the Josh Jacobs owner in your league is panicking, I would see if you can make a deal for him, because if you also look at the Packers' schedule, the Packers play the Giants, Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore. I mean, Chicago twice, Minnesota twice, Detroit. None of those defenses are necessarily great. Minnesota does have a good defense, but still, you could really see Josh Jacobs really popping off in these past few weeks, and the goal is to win championships. So these are guys that you want on your team.
All right. Thank you,
Tanner.
Thank you, Rain Man.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Rain Man cooking again. Hopefully he gets all the good advice before we can get in and do it ourselves.
And last but not least, we have come to our feature presentation, which is our Week 11 game picks. Colton went a dastardly 6-8, while I went a much improved, better 7-7. Which means that our current standings for the year. Oh, Tanner also went 7-7, by the way. Which means that Colton is 70-46-1 on the season, and I am 69-47-1.
Nice.
Yeah. So that means I am coming back. And we start by talking about our teams on bye, which are the Indianapolis Colts and the New Orleans Saints.
Saints looked hot. Unfortunately, I don't think they needed the bye week. Colts, maybe Danny Dimes needs it to recoup.
Yeah, he absolutely does. How do you feel about Tyler Shook?
I haven't seen enough. Haven't seen enough for me to decide anything on him. I definitely don't think that he's the future down there. That's for sure.
I don't know if he is the future just yet, but if he has more games like he did against Carolina last week, this could definitely be a different discussion come later in the year. All right. We start with the New York Jets and the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. The Patriots are wearing their rivalry jerseys tonight.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited for this game. Jets kind of looked like they were humming last week, but New England is just going to be that team to beat all year long. So give me the Patriots, Alex.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Patriots, they're going to be the team to beat just all year long. This team is going to be great, and it's going to be 8 consecutive tonight.
All right, moving on to our next game. We have the Miami Dolphins hosting the Washington Commanders.
In Spain,
In
by the
Spain.
way.
Another early morning game.
This isn't going to impact anything whatsoever. But in the end, I got to take the Dolphins. Tua has been kind of like that these past couple games, and I think that he will continue to be, while the hospital squad, known as the Washington Commanders, will continue to regress.
I'm going to go with you here. Dolphins look hot, especially after beating the Bills, and I have no faith in this Commanders team without Jaden Daniels or, in fact, any of their starters. Yeah, let's talk about hospital squad. I bet 90% of their guys aren't even traveling out to Madrid. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here.
All right. So with that, we go to our early window, and we start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are wearing throwback-y type jerseys. They're wearing throwback helmets. This is going to be a fun match. And with that, this is hard, actually.
This is a tough game.
Both of these teams have looked good, but could coast at any moment. For the time being, I am going to take the Buccaneers.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Baker still looks great. Baker still looks incredibly clutch. And Josh Allen, this is actually kind of an affordable loss for the Bills. I know the Bucs are going to want it more. They have more to prove. Give me the Bucs.
I'm actually going to oppose you on this one. I'm going to go the Bills. They have to start winning games. Otherwise, the Patriots are going to clutch up the division faster than they can say Buffalo Bills. Yeah, you've got it's time for Josh Allen to turn on the Jets. He's kind of looked really terrible since before the bye week and then coming out of the bye week. They are the inconsistencies of the AFC right now. So give me the Bills here.
Next, we have Unk Bowl 2 between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We saw how this played out on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Can't wait for another exciting rematch.
Yeah, Steelers have got this. I don't think that they will drop another one to the Bengals.
I'm with you. The Bengals are very tempting to take, but they were also at home wearing alternate uniforms. The Steelers got this one in the bag here. The Bengals locker room is totally lost. Anyway, we have the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Give me the Chargers here. I am out of spite not going to pick the Jaguars for the rest of the season. I cannot stand watching them. I actually have so much hatred in my heart for the Jacksonville Jaguars all of a sudden, and I don't know why. I despise them. They are one of my least favorite football teams in the entire NFL. Even when they look good, it feels like they're making dumb decisions. Chargers, all the way.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, remember how when we were talking about the Texans earlier, I talked about teams that might coast in the AFC? These are the two teams I was talking about. The Chargers, of course, with their injuries, will struggle to an extent. The Jaguars, I'm not sure I trust this late into the season just because they're the Jaguars. If I had to pick one of these teams, I'm going with the Chargers just because they did beat Pittsburgh last week, even with all of their injuries. So, yeah, the Chargers are the safe pick here, so I'm going to go with them. Next, we have the Chicago Bears taking on the Minnesota Vikings.
I am going to take the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy, who looked like he was humming last week. The Bears got bailed out. I still think that they're frauds. I think that they're not legit. And if you watch the game film, it shows it. So I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings.
I think Caleb Williams is a much different quarterback than he was in week 1 and 2. I think he's been much better on his feet, much better with decision making, much more clutch. Maybe some testosterone is finally kicking in. I am going to take the Chicago Bears. I cannot see a world where Caleb Williams drops another one to JJ McCarthy, who really has been inconsistent through these first parts of his snaps of his career. I'm going with the Chicago Bears.
All right.
Now, Colton. Matt LaFleur is playing for his job here as the Packers go to MetLife to take on the Giants.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah. I would love to pick the Giants. Jameis Winston is starting. Okay. I'm rubbing my magical mustache so that I can understand. So that I can understand which game pick I want to make. And now I'm twirling the non-existent twirlers on my mustache. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers here. I really thought I was going to pick them every single game of the season. I don't think that that's going to be the case. If this game is even close, if this game is within 20 points, expect me to be really grumpy next week.
Yeah.
So give me the Pack, but hopefully by 1,000.
Yeah. I can't help but agree with you here. Surely the Packers can beat the lowly Giants, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Matt LaFleur can get it done with his job on the line? Maybe?
Right.
Yeah, give me the Packers. No real contest here. Next, we got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Atlanta Falcons.
Give me the Panthers. No questions asked. Inconsistency in the Falcons. We already talked about Raheem Morris. If Bijan gets going, they're going to win. But Rico Dowdle certainly looks like a better running back than Bijan does this season.
Yeah, I'm completely out on Raheem Morris. I know you aren't just yet, but I don't think this team is going anywhere with him. For that sole reason, give me the Panthers.
All right, next game.
And we wrap up the early window with the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans.
Texans.
Yeah, Texans. No real discussion here. The Titans just suck.
Yeah.
We go to our Toxic Couch game of the week with the Seahawks taking on the Rams.
This is a game.
And the Rams are wearing the rivalries for this game too.
Yeah, this is going to be one heck of a game. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say there are going to be more Seahawks fans at SoFi than Rams fans. 12 travels well, especially to neighboring close stadiums and teams. So I am going to go with the 12 and the Seahawks here. They are the best team in the league, in my opinion.
The 12 does travel well, but people forget how good the Rams play against the Seahawks at home, especially with just how red hot Matthew Stafford has been. I am just going to go on a limb, disagree with you, take the Rams. Why am I taking the Rams? Because I said so.
Okay.
On the other end of the NFC West, we have the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the 49ers in this one. I don't think the Cardinals have it. I think they're very close. Marvin Harrison is out with an appendicitis surgery. So without their top weapon. They've got McBride still, but I'm gonna go with the Niners here. Better coach team.
I'm going with the Niners too. Remember, Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall are both set to come back this week in Arizona. I don't see the Cardinals really making a fight after what they attempted to do against Seattle last week.
Yep.
Now we go to the Jim Nantz and Tony Romo CBS game as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos.
What an interesting game for Tony Romo to be calling. They looked a little Mahomey, Jim. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Broncos here. I think that they're hotter than the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs need to figure some stuff out. I think that they've got to watch their backs. If they don't win this is a must-win for the Chiefs, if I'm being honest.
And that is exactly why I am going to pick them. Patrick Mahomes' back is literally against the wall, and I don't trust any team that goes up against Mahomes in a situation like that. I have to take the Kansas City Chiefs here.
All right.
And finally, before the primetime games, the Baltimore Ravens take on the Cleveland Browns on the other side of the AFC North.
Ravens look fantastic. Give me the Ravens. I think that they're finally figuring it out. Lamar's got a couple issues that he's got to put together, and he's definitely not as elite as once thought. But I'm going to still go with the Ravens on this one, Blackwood.
I am also going to go with the Ravens here. I don't think this is much of a contest. Even when they were struggling early on in the year, they took care of business against the Browns pretty badly. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take the Ravens. We go to our Sunday night matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Another game that easily could have been Toxic Couch Game of the Week, for sure. I'm actually going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles here. The Lions have looked almost as inconsistent as the Packers. When they're blowing teams out, they're blowing teams out. When they are losing bad. So I am going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to edge out the win here, figure out some of those offensive issues they had against the Packers. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles.
This isn't unwinnable for Detroit at all, but I simply cannot pick against the Philadelphia Eagles right now. Roll Birds, this should be a win for them.
Yep.
And finally, we have ourselves another Monday night stinker between the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders.
I am sick of these stinkers, I can tell you that much. Give me the Cowboys in this one to win. Geno Smith does not look like that guy.
I am actually going to oppose you and take the Raiders. The Cowboys are going to continue to cowboy, and people are going to continue to call for Jerry Jones' job, including Boba Heinrich.
She's adorable. Look at her. She's
absolutely amazing.
She stayed in the place the whole show. She has not moved once.
For that, we should give her a Fan of the Week award again next week.
Boba is Fan of the Week again.
Yeah.
Yay, Boba. We love you.
Well, that
Boba.
wraps up our...
Let's see. Is she going to open her eyes? Boba. Reluctantly. Giving me the stink eye.
Well, that wraps up this week of Toxic Couch TV. But before we go, just a big thank you once again to our sponsor, Heinrich's Harmony, offering Christ-centered piano, guitar, and voice lessons, plus worship band and ensemble opportunities for musicians of all levels.
Stay tuned.
If you're looking for lessons that inspire both your talent and your faith, visit stepstograce.com and scroll down to Heinrich's Harmony.
Amazing. Love it.
Stay tuned, folks.
Let's go back to Boba for a second. Oh,
we love you, Boba.
what a sweetheart.
This is my favorite part of filming at the Heinrich household.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Here, let's pull us back up on the screen. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Alongside of Boba. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're pretty much done with the show. If you're wondering why I'm wincing and going, I had shoulder surgery yesterday, so we're still powering through. It's the big sling on my arm, just in case any of you made it this far wondering, what, he looks ridiculous. Thank you. I know. No, what another great show, honestly. I'm super proud of how much progress we've made. Alex has been just the most wonderful person to work with throughout all of this. I mean, we put everything together every single week. We had some chats going on during the live stream that said that the stream and the setup just keeps getting better every week. We appreciate that. If you're over on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers so that we can just stream straight to YouTube because we're sick of this Twitch stuff. And if you're on Twitch, ignore everything that I just said. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever the Twitch people do on Twitch. Yeah, that's all for me, Alex. What do you got?
Well, I just want to reciprocate some of the positive words that you gave to me. Thank you so much for everything you've been doing for Toxic Couch. This would not be a show without you. And I'm not just saying that because you own the rights to Toxic Couch. You do so much for this show that no other person would do, even without being on a day removed from surgery. Yeah, what an excellent guy. What an honor it is to work with him. And thank you guys, the viewers, for being here with us every single week and enjoying our company. We thank you so much for that. That's all I have.
That's all I've got.
With that, I want to say thanks once again to you guys, and bye.
Bye.
Toxic Couch TV. Couch TV. Hey, 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 we're live from the couch where the big boys play. Colton Heinrich, sharp as a tack. Alex Blackwood's got the stats to back. We're tossing hot takes like a perfect pass. Talking touchdowns, tackles, and a little sass. Toxic Couch TV, where the banter flies so free. Toxic Couch TV, you get your sports straight from we. We call the plays before they unfold. Predict the champs, both brave and bold. From Sunday lights to Monday night, we're singing takes that just sound right. Toxic Couch TV, the gridiron's melody. Toxic Couch TV, hot takes in perfect key. That QB's cold, but he still got soul. Defense wins when the nights turn old. Ooh, the game's on a roll. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Now here's the breaking news. Don't change that view. And don't change that view. Toxic Couch TV, your weekly show with glee. Colton and Alex, harmony. Toxic Couch TV. Stay tuned, folks.